guys, welcome back to a brand new video. And today we are going to be taking a look at one of the things I like to take a look at most commonly on this channel. It's something we haven't done in a long time. Lots has actually changed since the last time we made one of these videos. And what exactly I'm talking about is the rarest cars within Forza Horizon 5. Now, like all videos, we do a top 5 or top 3 list depending on how many there currently are, and there are a couple of cars I get out of the way right off the bat, so we're going to take a look at those quickly before we move any further. And they're both DLC cars, the first of which being the Ford GT OPI edition. And to get this car, I believe it was about 6 or 7 months ago now, the makeup brand or the nail polish company OPI did a collaboration with Forza. Don't ask me, it doesn't make any sense, where if you spent $20 on your order, you received a code for this car. It wasn't too hard to get. You could actually refund your order after. I know a lot of people did that. I don't actually have that. All it is the Ford GT. Looks like this goes a little faster. And the second car is the Ford 5-window Deluxe right here. Not actually that good of a car. It came out with the launch of Forza Horizon 5. There was a special controller you could pre-order or purchase, and that came with a code to get this car. I got scammed buying this code off eBay, and then eventually I was able to get one that wasn't a scam, and I kind of wish I hadn't, because I've only used it twice. The first time when I actually got it, and then the second time when I made a video on it. Kind of a bad car, but let's dive into our actual cars here. But before we do that, we do have a sponsor that's about 30 seconds, so if you don't want to hear it, go ahead and skip 30 seconds. And our very first car today, we actually have 3, so in the third place, we're doing 3, 2, 1, in my opinion, order of rarity, is actually a car that used to be very rare, and it is getting less rare as the price goes back up on this car. However, lots of cars that used to be rare are not actually too rare at the moment, since the auction house price reset about 1 to 2 months ago now. Lots of cars prices are what people are willing to sell them for, so a lot of rare cars you can find. However, this one still manages to elude the market, and it's the Unicorn V2, which I do actually have one of those. And this car has only released a small number of times, and the reason people like this car is because it has a very high natural skill multiplier of a ×8, so it's very easy to get a very high drift score. When people go for that, it is achievement, whatever, scoreboards. This car has been rare because it was price locked at very low millions. I think it was 2 point something, but it is selling for a lot now. I don't know if it's actually selling for 20 million or if I've modified both of these and that's why they're selling for 20 million. But either way, it does hold a pretty high price point at the moment. And this is number 3 on our list. It tends to make a lot of lists just because of how few times it's released into the game. So if you have one of these, I highly recommend holding on to it because it's a very handy car to have. And with the passing of Ken Block, it is becoming even more iconic, as he will greatly be missed. Now, this next car I actually don't know as much about, just the fact that it has only released 1, possibly 2 times into the game. I don't actually have one because I haven't been able to get my hands on it. It is an extremely rare car. If you have one, let me know down below. Maybe I could go ahead and buy it off you. But anyways, this car I haven't been able to get my hands on, so obviously that does make it very rare even after the auction house resets. That being said, with the auction house reset, or this car hasn't been released in the game in quite a while, I do believe it will be re-released pretty soon, so fingers crossed I'll be able to get my hands on one then. But I don't even have one to show off to you guys because this is very rare. However, it is not the most rare car in the game. The only reason I don't have it is because I wasn't playing the festival at the time it released at the festival. But the number 1 car I can absolutely show off to you guys, and I'm sure if you guys might even have it. And yes, it is the infamous Lamborghini Aventador SVJ. It has been a year since this car famously released into the game. If you don't know, a bunch of hackers got their hands on it early, and you were actually able to buy this car on the auction house before it was even officially released to the game. And since there were so many hackers getting them, it did actually flood the market, and it caused a drastic change within Forza Horizon's 5 auction house, and it is a very big staple in Forza Horizon 5. Now, that being said, it is still one of the rarest cars in the game. However, it releases every now and then pretty frequently, and it still never really goes up for sale because it holds a high price point and people love the way this car looks and sounds. That being said, we do actually have our hands on a couple to show you guys off. We can take a look at what these sell for in case you were wanting to get your hands on one. We do have 1, 2, 3 of this car, and if we go ahead and we check for auction, they are currently going for 20 million credits. And if there's none on the auction house at 20 million credits, there's not going to be any on the auction house in the next next coming weeks until this car releases once again. So if I were you, I wouldn't wait for the price to drop because it's probably not going to drop for a long time. Go get your hands on one of these right now because it's only gonna get harder and harder to purchase one. But anyways, boys, that is gonna be all for this video. If you made it all the way through to the end, let me know with a comment down below. Let me know which cars I could have put on this list, but perhaps I forgot, and we'll be sure to include them on the next video. But as always, we'll see you in the next one. Stay sideways. Just kidding. I'm out. Peace.